G1, which is announcement of items discussed in closed session. There was no closed session this morning, so therefore no announcements necessary. Move on to B2, agenda approval, additions and or deletions, and we are going to be pulling for next week G1, the minutes from June 11th, 2013. They're not ready yet, but they'll be on next week's agenda. Other than that, any other changes to the agenda, any additions or deletions? Board members, staff? Seeing none, chair would entertain a motion. Moved by Supervisor Wassink, seconded by Supervisor Pyle to approve the amended agenda with pulling G1. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Chair votes aye. Before we move into public comment, I'd like to share with the audience, if I could, a bit of an issue that I've come up with myself personally. And this has to do with trying to keep the meetings on time and keep the agenda items on time. The last couple of meetings I found it difficult to do, and so therefore, in order to, in respect to the public, in respect to staff and those who are in the audience to make presentations and hear presentations, I'm going to do my darndest to remain on time. It doesn't make any difference to me. I'm happy to stay here all day. I'm very happy to stay here all day, as I know the other board members are as well. But when we have people in the audience and staff who come for a 10:30 item and they're sitting here till 11:30, 11:45, I don't think that is a very efficient way or a very fair way to run the meeting. So therefore, we're going to implement a time limit of 3 minutes on presentations, and this is in accordance with the procedures adopted by the board and set forth in our resolution. And a copy I know is back there on the table and it's on the outside wall, so if anybody has any questions on it, I'd be happy to answer it. That being said, we're going to go ahead and move on to B3, public comment. And as most of you know, the public comment is an opportunity for those in the audience to address the board on items which do not necessarily appear on our agenda. We're happy to take your comments. We're going to limit these comments to 3 minutes as well. And we would hope that those comments are on a topic which is about something that is under the jurisdiction of this board. And obviously, as I said, we cannot take any action on it, but we're happy to hear your comments. I've got a couple of requests from people for public comment. Mr. Don Armitrod. Don, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. I'm here today because for the past year, many times you've expressed the importance of the commission. Now I'm here to make you go a step farther because action speaks louder than words. We have 7 active members on the commission. 1 person misses a meeting, we're down to a quorum. 2 miss it, we can't do a thing. We are missing 3 regular members. 2 for District 4, 1 for District 3. We are missing all 5 alternates. Our commissioners have been looking for people. We need your help to look through your districts and look at some of your people and get some new members for the commission so that we can move forward in an expeditious manner. Because right now we're at a stall.
Can we advertise and think those are all vacant?
Yeah, they're
advertising.
They're open until filled.
Yeah, and we're going to submit an article to the newspaper today. Hopefully it'll end up in it next Tuesday, discussing the commission and the Lassen Sportsman's Club. And the title of this thing I'm submitting is Hunter or Hunter Conservationist, and tie it back to that. So
maybe that article will help get some people to put their application in. The alternates are important.
yeah. They are right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Appreciate you coming this morning. I have a request to speak under public comment from Jean Hodge. Jean, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for allowing me to speak to you today. Amidst all the business about agendas and minutes, I would like to read you first a little section from Article 1 of the California Constitution, Section 3, Parts A and B. The people have the right to instruct their representatives, petition government for redress of grievances, and assemble freely to consult for the common good. The people have the right, under Section B, of access to information concerning the conduct of the people's business, and therefore the meetings of public bodies and the writings of public officials and agencies shall be open to public scrutiny. And what I'd like to do is request that we have a discussion on the Brown Act and the minutes and why some of them aren't available in a timely fashion, so that we can lay to rest all this controversy and hubbub about the minutes and the agendas. Can we have that placed on the agenda,
That's on the agenda for,
a future meeting?
I don't have any.
okay. County council, you wanna take care of that, make it,
Sure. I mean, I don't have the access to the calendar of when you'd want to put this on, but if we want to put this on the agenda regarding
next
our,
week's gonna be crowded,
next week is very crowded.
you know, we're not gonna attend
And then we don't-
next week, and the first meeting in July, maybe towards the second meeting in July or something, the first meeting, I think that's when
And this
we've got a couple of guests.
16th, I won't be here, July 16th. Do you want to look at possibly July?
The final meeting in
23rd?
July?
That sounds great.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you, Gene. Is there anybody else in the audience wishing to make public comments or wishing to address the board under the public comment portion of our deliberations? Seeing none, we're gonna go ahead and move on then to item D1, unagendized reports by board members. And I'd like to entertain the comments of Supervisor Wassick first. Good morning, Larry.
Hi, Mr. Chairman. I attended last night the coordination council meeting. It was a very productive and rather long meeting. I think we finished just about 9 o'clock.
As long as they're,
But it was nice. Jerry Bird was in attendance. Actually, we had members from the public that brought up some good points. And at the next meeting, we're actually going to have Public Works there with a map of the Lassen and address the roads issues, some of the ones that have been changed, the designations, and try and undo some of the changes. And Jerry mentioned that they were able to be relooked at, so kind of address some of those connectability issues and get that fixed. But it was quite involved, and all the supervisor Kyle, since he chaired the meeting.
Anything else under your own agenda?
One thing,
Yeah.
I next week, I will be absent. My son has a competition out of town.
Good luck, Levi. That must mean he's prepared.
He's repaired and he's all ready to go. He competes next,
Dad's gonna have a body cast.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in Mammoth Lakes at big amateur ones. Thank you.
yeah,
Buddy, Bob?
just to continue on the coordination meeting last night, Jerry Bird did come and, very smart man, very good speaker. I was glad to have him there. I felt like he finally went over the hump. The coordination committee's been struggling, it seems like so long to, get to the point where we're actually, making sense and what's happening. It's like, the meet and greet part of, BLM and Forest Service, Road, or B. I felt we broke the ice with Jerry Bird last night on that, and, we're gonna put, there will be a, fixed agenda, spot on the agenda for, Forest Service supervisor, whoever it be, and now being Jerry Bird, and after the first review, it'd be somebody new, but, we had a lot of talk about, level 2, 3, and 4 roads and why they're where they are and all that, and, Lorraine Hanson, of course, she's very active in this, as we all know, and I think in the conversation, it sounded like level 3 road, the issue is you're on level 2 road, but you use 4-wheeler, whatever it be. You get to level 3 or 4, can no longer ride on them roads. So you gotta load it up, you pick up and go to the next section of level 2 road. So instead of being able to ride 100 miles on, nonstop, you got different level roads, so you can. I think, I'm not exactly sure level 3, if all fours, you cannot ride an SUV on or not. I think it depends on the forest. But what we want to do is get it where you can, start off at one point, maybe ride 200 miles. Through you and your family on SUVs. So they talked about decommissioning level 3 down to level 2, because that is a possibility. I mean, it's not that, the answer is no, it can't happen. There is, it sounds like it can happen through the process. And I finally feel like the coordination committee is kind of hit their, becoming realistic and, actually working with the Forest Service. And we will be inviting BLM, what's his name, Ken, to a meeting in the future. And so every month you'll have somebody different there, and it'll start getting out to the agencies that we do have a coordination committee. It is active, we are working and functioning, and we will, have issues with all the different agencies. So I think we jumped a big hurdle last night. I really feel good that we finally, broke the ice and got over that. And then I had a conference call with NorCal EMS. Not just me, but I mean the board of directors. And I'm feeling good about them now too, but we finally got a balanced budget. Dan is going to work probably half-time. He'll still be available 24 hours a day, but his actual pay will be kept at half-time. We're moving one employee, but all the change we made, NorCal EMS is now functioning with a balanced budget. There's no longer a loss in the system. I think Dan will be here today. So, anyhow, I feel better about that too. So there'll be more on that on the agenda item. So that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Pyle. Supervisor Albach.
Sure, the one thing I have is we had our River Dog Lawn Dental, we had the junior fishing derby up there in Hayden on Saturday. Had almost as many people up there as you had here. We had 97 kids up there. They planted 400 pounds of fish. The biggest fish caught was 3 pounds, 6 ounces. And the smallest fish caught by my son was 2 ounces.
That was thrown back, right?
No, you gotta keep them all.
You gotta keep them all, okay.
So anyway, it was all good. That's all we got.
Supervisor Chapman?
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I've just got a couple of quick items. One, I'm going to be leaving at 11 o'clock this morning. I have a 3 o'clock meeting in Sacramento, and I'll be in Sacramento for the rest of the week. And I would like to dedicate the balance of my discretionary fund, which is something like $203 or something. It was an odd amount because of the snow removal at Fort Sage Unified, to the Doyle seniors for use on upgrading the windows in the building. So that's it. Okay, we're going to move on then to our consent agenda, and I have a request to pull G1 and G3. We've already pulled G1, and so therefore I would honor the request from Eileen Spencer to pull G3. The chair would entertain a motion on the remaining portion of the consent agenda, which as far as I can tell is Mr. Egan's G2. Chair would entertain a motion.
I would so move, Mr. Chairman.
Been moved by Supervisor Pyle, seconded by Supervisor Wasik, to pass the remaining consent agenda with the exception of G1, which has been tabled for next week, and G3, which will be taken up separately. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Chair votes aye. Any opposition? Carries unanimously. Okay, we'll be taking up G3, and again pulled off for separate consideration. G3 is our correspondence file, which received in file. Ms. Spencer, would you care to make a comment on G3?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Normally, this is always on the consent calendar, is that correct? Okay, is this action requested? It's just to receive?
That's correct.
Okay. I printed out everything that you uploaded. And it doesn't appear that any action, any vote or action, motion or anything is required by this. And my concern is, again, the way the certificate of sufficiency was presented to the board, even though county council said it needed to be agendized, it simply does not, because it requires no action. It could have been done in this section, which requires no action. It could have been done on B2. She could have submitted it as an addition. She did not. And I don't care if you interrupt me if I go over, but it's very short. The point is that there, despite what county council said, there is an obvious avenue to present the certificate of sufficiency at the May 28th meeting. Because, and the irony of this is that Ms. Bustamante does in fact do your agenda. She puts it together, she publishes it, and so the timing of her announcement on the 23rd is suspect. I think personally, and I think a lot of people now are concerned about this abuse of her authority. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Spencer. Again, there's no action required other than receive and file, so pleasure of the board. Okay, we'll go
Make a
ahead.
motion, item 3, receive and file.
Moved and seconded to receive and file the correspondence listed under item 3, G3. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Chair votes aye. We've got some time certain items, however, we're going to go ahead and move into the H items until 10 o'clock. We have time certain at 10 o'clock. So H1, we go over the budget. Julie, you want to see if we can get that done in about 10 minutes? Obviously, this is the...
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What staff is asking the board to do today is to adopt a resolution that would adopt the recommended budget for the coming year. And at this point, what we're asking for is no greater than last year's revenues and expenditures. And the purpose of this is to comply with the timelines of the government code and to allow the county to continue paying bills until the time where we've had the opportunity to post and have the public hearing on the budget.
Board members have any questions or comments on this? Obviously, we've done this before. The audience have any questions or comments on this action? Seeing none, the chair to entertain a motion.
I'm moving to adopt the resolution.
Been moved by Supervisor Wasik, seconded by Supervisor Pyle. Supervisor Chapman, I think we were a little slow on that, but we were close on that. Anyway, to adopt the resolution, which will go ahead and allow us to continue to pay bills between now and the time that the actual budget for next year is approved. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Chair votes aye. Is there any opposition to that item? Hearing none, carried unanimously.
Thank you.
Melody, should we do H2?
I believe we can.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Melody.
Good morning,
Thank you for coming this morning.
Mr. Chairman, board members. Melanie Brawley, Director of Health and Social Services. You have before you a couple of resolutions. We got your approval last year to merge the old alcohol and drug department with the old mental health department to create a behavioral health department. Now we're asking to do something similar with the advisory boards. We've had for years a separate mental health advisory board and a separate drug and alcohol advisory board. And it makes sense now that they're one department, and with the focus on integrating those services to have an integrated board, advisory board. We want to, of course, keep a membership that's robust and includes people who have backgrounds on the mental health side and backgrounds on the substance abuse side. And the resolution creating the Behavioral Health Advisory Board kind of lays out our plan for staffing that. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Supervisor Chapman,
Yeah,
your
this has been
reviewed and worked with the, both mental health advisory board and the alcohol advisory board in recent months, and this is kind of a product of their consensus as put together by staff, and there are a couple minor adjustments. Actually, Mr. Nichols attended one of the meetings a couple months ago and offered some, good input too. So reviewing the documents, it's consistent with what the boards have talked about, and I move that we approve both resolutions.
Second to that motion? Seconded by Supervisor Pyle, moved by Supervisor Chapman, seconded by Supervisor Pyle, to adopt both resolutions. Under discussion, I would have a quick comment, or Supervisor Alwell, you go ahead.
Yeah, I just got a comment on your board composition. I mean, you have 4 to 6 consumers, if it's listed. I mean, who's gonna kind of pick those? Is it gonna be by ballot? How long are they gonna serve?
We have to recruit, and it'll be posted, the notice will be posted by the county clerk that we're looking for people to fill the vacancies, and of course, we will go out and attempt to get current clients or their family members to apply for the position.
And how long would that run? Is that for a year,
Well,
3 years, or 4?
it can be for a year, it can be for as long as they would care to stay. One of the first tasks they'll be doing is putting together their own bylaws stating how long they'll serve as a board member.
If I could add to that,
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, in current state law, in terms of underlining both mental health and alcohol advisory boards, there is a requirement that you have consumers or family of consumers as part of the program. So it's kind of like part of the quality assurance type of a program. So it's not just provided by either the providers of programs or services or staff. So there's kind of a balance there to bring about. And that's the, so even though the law is kind of like changed and these boards have basically been phased out by the state, because even at the state level, they have consolidated all the various state departments
The
into.
mental health advisory board is still required, but the drug and alcohol board is not.
But those, as time goes on, they've been phasing these out, and so we're still going to want to maintain that standard. And even if they abolish the state law that underwrites any of the boards, we still have the principle. And it's been a very effective tool. They're self-identified, so it's not like you're violating like HIPAA requirement or something, because you can't let you disclose confidential information about clients. And so it's something that they self-disclose. We have a very active group called Lassen Network, which is a consumer-based group that is separate from the county, and they're basically, they are supported by the county. And so they're very active in giving input to the program, and they have a tremendous dynamic. In fact, I think they received a national award. One of these awards up here was an award that they received from the National Association of Counties for their role. So they function to provide a recruitment tool for carriers. So it's something that it's.
And it's really important to us to have consumers or their family members there, because they have the client experience to bring that perspective to the board.
Oh, I realize, I was just trying to, make sure that you have a way to, how you're gonna recruit them, and how the process can be to, because if you have 20 consumers that want
Right,
4 or 6
well,
positions.
Now, that's been our experience.
I was gonna say
That $25 stipend might help.
That would be a dream come true.
But if it is, how many days on? That was my question and concern.
And that's one of the reasons we wanted to have the
The
$25
mental health board,
stipend
up
in there.
until a couple, 2-3 months ago, was functioning with 3 members, and one of them being a member of the board here. So, actually, we're seeing a kind of a resurgence of interest, and if we could get 20 to apply, then that would be great. We're gonna count on you to help.
I was just being optimistic.
My only comment is, even when I was your predecessor on mental health advisory, the integration of these two disciplines has been long in coming. I think this is actually a very good move. It's not just for efficiency. I think it's going to be a much better delivery of service.
Well, it's been discussed for at least the last 2 or 3 years amongst them, so this is kind
No,
of, it's not something that just happens.
Actually very positive.
It's very, very rare that you see a mental health disorder or a substance use disorder without the presence of the other one. Even if the person's not ready to deal with one, and they only want to deal with the other, we have to be cognizant of both of those being there and keep working on them to address both. That's our plan.
And I would just, as a final thing, I just want to offer is, most of the members that have served on the 2 boards that currently exist have indicated their desire and willingness to proceed, and the makeup of this board in terms of numbers would be sufficient to accommodate all those who want to continue to serve. Plus, there's some additional vacancies, so other new people maybe want to join in. So I think this is a good time to make this come about. The good news is that one of the amendments that was made is that the new board will take effect once the recruitment process, or July 1, whichever, is the later. And obviously with the time frame being what it is now, probably the earliest we'd be seeing the board making appointments will either be at our second or third meeting in July. So until that transition takes place, the existing boards will continue to function and meet.
Thank you very much. Audience, have any questions or comments on this item? Seeing none? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Chair votes aye. Is there any opposition? Carries unanimously. Thank you very much, Melody.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got a 10 o'clock time certain, so we're going to just sit here for about 45 seconds and look at each other. We'll take it up at 10 o'clock.
I'm tired of that.
Instead of just looking at each other, Supervisor Pyle would like to go back to unagendized reports for a minute, so we'd be happy to entertain your comments, Bob.
And I think that.
You have 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Our discretionary funds, I'm guessing today is probably the last day to use them, or it's gonna go over the next fiscal year. So I don't have much left in mine. I don't even know what it is, $100 or $200. I would like to give what's left to the Blue Star loan.
That's good because we're getting ready to play.